Good evening. This is Pastor Bob at Sunrise Community Church. How you guys doing today? And I hope you've had a great week. It's been a busy week here. We've had a lot going on, and today we had more snow. Flurries of snow all day long. I tell you, they tell me, according to my phone, according to the Weather Channel, it's going to be 77 degrees here next Thursday. I'm ready for that. I hope you guys are having a good day and going to have a good weekend wherever you're at. We're talking about Jonah. We're going to go back to that this week. We're in Jonah chapter 1. We'll be in verses 5 through 10. And we're talking about who is your neighbor. Now, I've told you before that Jonah is broken down into two sections. The first section is Jonah fleeing from the call, and then the second section, chapters 3 and 4, is Jonah accepting the call and going to Nineveh. And each of these two sections is then broken down, or two sides are then broken down into three more sections, which is God's call to Jonah, and then Jonah encounters the pagans, and then God talks, or Jonah talks to God. And so today this weekend we'll be talking about Jonah. He's on the boat, and the storm starts to rage. Jonah is downstairs asleep in the hold of the boat, and the Bible says that the sailors are terrified. Now, that's the first thing that jumps out to me. These sailors are terrified. I was on a cruise ship back 3 or 4 years ago, and we got into a storm, so much so that we had to go rescue another boat, so much so that they closed off all the decks. It was at night, about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, the storm blew up. And I didn't realize how bad it was until we had a cabin with a balcony, and we were looking down, and we could see the boat that they were going to go out and rescue these people with. And that boat, I had walked by it on the deck. It was one of the lifeboats. That boat holds 300 people, so that's not a small boat. When they dropped that into the sea just swallowed that boat up. That's how rough it was. But what I noticed was when that storm came up, all the people that we thought were sailors that were walking around with all the fancy uniforms on while we're there having dinner or going to the shows, they're really hospitality workers because they were locked inside the ship with us. The people that were doing the work, all of a sudden were these other sailors, these professional sailors that really had the boat under control. And guess what? They weren't scared. They knew exactly what they were doing. It was amazing to watch these men work. It's what they had trained for. And so when I read this passage here in Jonah, the first thing that jumps out to me is these are experienced sailors, and they're afraid for their lives. They're throwing things overboard, trying to lighten the ship. They immediately realize that this is a terrible storm, and it must have come up in some way that there's no natural excuses for it, because they realize that not only is this storm so violent and so intense, but it is that way, and it must have some kind of divine origin. And so they're looking for it. The Bible says that each one of them starts to pray to their own God. They're looking for some way to find out what's going on. And they come to the conclusion that not only is this storm from a divine origin, but it's probably caused because somebody has sin in their life. That's what they think. And so they're starting to look. Now, the amazing thing is Jonah, he doesn't seem to be concerned at all. He's down in the hold sleeping. One pastor years ago, back in the 19th century, preached a sermon. He called this sleep the sleep of sorrow. We all know what that's like, don't we? You ever tried to escape reality because things just aren't going well, or you're depressed, and you just go to sleep and just, if only for a few minutes, escape reality? I think that's what Jonah was doing. He was spent. His emotions, the grief, the guilt, everything that was going on in his life, he was spent. He was down there asleep. The captain has to go down there and get him. Jonah is completely absorbed in his own problems. While the sailors up aboard, they're looking to the common good of everybody. But Jonah is down there. He's completely absorbed in his own problems. The captain comes down and he says, "Arise, arise." It is the same words that God used when God called Jonah to go to Nineveh. Can you imagine if you're Jonah, you're there, you're rubbing your eyes trying to wake up, and there is this heathen boat captain with God's very words in his mouth. What do you think's going on? Jonah still, he says, You're supposed to be a man of faith. Why aren't you praying? Why aren't you using your faith for the common good of everybody? Why aren't you using your faith for everyone? Jonah doesn't want to share God's goodness. He doesn't want to share how you can have a relationship with the God of the universe. He doesn't want to share his faith in the practical needs of these people. He doesn't. It's amazing to me that the very people that Jonah didn't want to talk about God with, the ones he's fleeing for, now he's talking about God to those same kind of people here on the ship. That is amazing to me. So we're going to talk about who is your neighbor. We're going to talk about what God requires of us. We're going to talk about what is Jonah learning and what maybe should the church be learning. We're going to talk about the world evaluating the church on its commitment to people of all kinds. That's what we'll be talking about on Sunday. Listen, I look forward to it. I hope you're having a great day. I hope to see you on Sunday, either in service or online. God bless you. Don't forget to send in those prayer requests, and we'll see you Sunday. God bless you. Have a great day.